Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO scale. No, you're not looking at the Evanston sub. You're looking at the North American Prototype Modelers open house. A little bit more on that later, but right now I do want to update you on the progress that was made this last week on the Evanston sub. I started working on the Evanston Yard. So I built a couple of switches, actually 4 turnouts using the Fast Tracks jig. You only see 3 of them here. Still haven't built the 4th one. But my goal was to start working on this Evanston Yard here. It's going to be a 7-track yard with a arrival and departure track, 5 storage tracks, and a bypass track. So 7 altogether. And I had already drawn in the curves along the end there, but I wanted to make sure I got all the tracks straight here, so I used a chalk line to make sure that the 7 tracks were nice and straight along this straightaway here. Once I had the lines in straight, then I figured out the angle and where I wanted the turnouts to start, and I drew in another chalk line at the correct angle for number 8 turnouts to be able to go from the single track to the 7 tracks of the yard. Once I had that all laid out correctly, then I went ahead and put some Midwest roadbed down, and I basically just put 1 strip along each side. So I kind of boxed in the area that was going to be used by the yard tracks. Now once I had that all done, then I began to put in the inside roadbed. And I wanted to show you here just kind of how I cut the angles. I just basically lined it up here as far as where it needed to be cut. And when I had it all lined up, then I used some kind of a straight edge. At this particular time, I just basically used this level and set it down on where the cut needed to be, and then I used the utility knife to actually make the cut. So I had the cork cut at the correct angle. Once it was cut, then I went ahead and placed it in along the chalk line and glued it down with Elmer's glue. And it all came out pretty nice and even. Stack train goes through. And here you can see I have all the cork roadbed in place for this end of the yard. And I was also able to put in some ties for the turnouts. Here you can see where I ended up. Here the yard is going to go around the turn there, and then there'll be another yard throat on that end. Here you can see the turnouts, the ties for the turnouts. I have was able to do 4 turnouts this week. Here you can see I have them, the ties. Put the ties on some paper templates that I print out from Fast Tracks, and then glue it down. And then finally here, I have the turnouts actually installed. Now the main line has not only the cork roadbed, but an additional 1/8 inch N-scale roadbed underneath it. So there's a transition from the main line down to the secondary track of the yard. And so you have a little bit of an incline there. It's about a 1.5%. It's 1/8 inch over 8 inches of length. So it comes out to about 1.5%. And you can see here that I have the switches installed on the ties. I still have 4 more to do for here. 3 more right-handed turnouts, and then there's going to be a left-handed one to have this track right here. I'm not sure what I'm going to use this track here for, but there was space for it, so I went ahead and put it in. Probably be maybe a area for the yard crew to park their locomotives. But you can see I do have some track in. Now this track here, this is going to be the drill track. It's going to go all the way around. It won't go into the furnace room, but it'll go right up around there until it hits the wall. So the yard crew will be able to pull out, hopefully, a whole track. So any one of these tracks that has cars on it should be able to pull the whole string out, or close to it. All right, I'm not going to run any trains, but do have some cars here. You can see how they flow into it. You can kind of see how it goes down. So one thing I definitely like about this secondary track is you can definitely see the transition between the main line, which is a little bit higher, and the secondary track of the yard, which is down 1/8 of an inch. So the main line is 1/8 of an inch higher, and it has code 83 track, whereas the secondary track of the yard and the drill track and everything, it's 1/8 inch lower, and it's also code 70 track. So you should be able to see a difference between the main line and the secondary track. So that's going to be true not only for the Evanston Yard, also going to be true for the UTLX repair facility, for the Devil's Slide and the Wholesome Cement area, and also for the West Vaco Trona plant. It's going to be a transition of 1/8 of an inch. I wasn't able to do all of the different turnouts because I don't have any turnout motors in or anything, but it looks pretty good. I think it's turned out quite well. One thing I also did this week was some work on my dispatcher's panel. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about how the dispatcher's panel is going to work when we have operating sessions. First one's going to be December 3rd, so I'm kind of getting things ready for that. Here you can see where the rest of the yard is going to be. It's going to be a throat here. Now this throat's going to be using curved turnouts. So it's going to be a little bit different, but there's also going to be then a room here for another drill track going in the other direction, and then also some engine facilities going to be right here. And then there's also going to be room for car shops. So it's going to be pretty cool. All right, here's some information on the dispatcher's panel. So I'd like to give you an overview of the dispatcher's panel and how the dispatcher is able to control
the layout, control all the turnouts in the staging yard on the main line, and along with all the turnouts, able to control the signals and therefore control the movement of traffic. All right, now this is what the dispatcher will see. Now I'm going to be scrolling back and forth. So here you have Riverdale, Utah on the very left. That's the West Staging Yard, and then Morgan, Devil's Slide, Emory, Wasatch, Evanston, and then it continues up above with Aspen, Granger, West of Vaco, and then finally the Helix and the East Staging Yard. Now the dispatcher will have this spanned over two monitors. So the dispatcher will not need to scroll back and forth, but for recording purposes, I am going to be scrolling back and forth. Now, during the operating session, there's almost always going to be some kind of maintenance that's going to be taking place along the main line. So the dispatcher is going to have to maneuver around that. And then there's also some switching that could take place at West Vaco that could block things up. There could be some switching here at Devil's Slide that could block things up. And then also switching here at the UTLX repair shop, so that could be blocking things up. Right now, though, we'll just show it with some maintenance being done on the main line. So I'm going to go ahead and show this block here as occupied between Granger and Aspen. So we'll assume that there is a maintenance crew working on the track right here on the number 1 track between Aspen and Granger. And so the dispatcher will have to maneuver traffic around that. All right, so the first thing, let's start off with the East Staging Yard. And the traffic that comes out of the East Staging Yards will come out of tracks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so that will be going in this direction. And so the first thing that the dispatcher will do will be select which train's coming out. So we'll say it's going to be this train here. There is a train that's occupied there, and he's going to be coming out. So the first thing is to line up the turnouts. Then I will line up the routes for this particular train. So it's going to come up on the outside main line of the Helix. So when I click this route next to this signal, that basically gives this train a routing through the Helix and onto the next signal, which will be right here. Now, since it only has basically one block to go through, this is the westbound signal, so it only has one block that's available to it. So this signal here is yellow, indicating that it can clear through this signal, but does not have clearance through the next signals. Now these are the eastbound signals, so the next westbound signals are right here, which are red. But the dispatcher can go ahead and give him clearance to go through that one also, which will give a yellow here. Then if you look back here, it will give it a flashing yellow, which is white on the screen, but it actually is flashing yellow on the layout, which means coming out of here, it now has clearance for 2 blocks. When it gets to here, it just has clearance for 1 block. And then when it comes here, I can't give it clearance to go straight because I have to go around it, so I'm going to give it clearance to go around it, and it has the yellow. And then here it's going to go back around back to its the right hand side. So basically I'm routing this train around this maintenance crew. Now coming from the other side, the traffic here is going to be coming from track 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll give it this track here, and then the same way coming in the other direction. and I'm just going to give it clearance all the way through. So it's, and again, as you notice, it gives it, my last one I cleared through is here, so it's yellow. Go back one, it's flashing yellow. Go back here, it's green, then green. So as I continue to give it clearance, it will change all the signals to match up with whatever it is that I have done. Okay, so I will go ahead and do it one more. And so I have it cleared all the way through here. Now I can't clear it anymore because we have the maintenance here, and then I have the westbound train already clear to go through this crossover. All right, so let's go see what happens when the trains actually begin to travel across the main line. So we'll start here with the eastbound traffic out of Riverdale. So it's right here, and as it comes out of here, the first thing it's going to do is occupy this block here. And you see it kind of lights up. The striped means it's got a route lined up and it also is occupied. So that's what the striped means. Yellow is the route, red is occupied, so it's a striped red and yellow. And then it's going to come here, and now it's striped red and blue because the eastbound traffic is blue, westbound traffic is brown. And then it's going to come here. Once it hits this block here, it go ahead and releases this block. Okay, and so as this train clears and goes all the way through, now the train is between Morgan and Devil's Slide. Now that has freed up so that the dispatcher could be able to set up another train to come out. Okay, so it's going to hit here, and then here. Now it was green, so it would be going 25 miles an hour. I think I'm going to start off with 25 miles an hour for green, 20 miles per hour for flashing yellow, and 15 miles per hour for yellow. Alright, so it's going through Devil's Slide. Now it's between Devil's Slide and Emory. Still has a green, so it's going 25 miles an hour. Alright, through here. And as you notice again, as I go through, it releases the route. Now I'm between Emory and Kerrville. Even though it could go 25, it's probably going to be going a little bit slower. Now I get a flashing yellow. So here it's going to make sure that it's reduced down to 20 miles per hour. And it will go there and here. Now it won't go through quite this fast. It's going to take a lot longer. Now I'm between Wasatch and Evanston. And let's, while that's happening, then this train's going to be coming out here also. So it starts off here. We'll go ahead and see how this one will do. Alright, so it takes that block there, which is just the turnouts. And then it will go on to the helix. Again, now you notice it's brown and red stripes. Then it clicks here. Now that route has been released. And as it continues up the helix, again, the dispatcher can release another one behind it. We'll just worry about these here, though. Alright, the train comes here, goes through Westvaco. Alright, go through the control point. Now the train is between Westvaco and Granger. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and have this one come here. And then it's going to go through the Evanston control point. And then, so it is basically right here, and it has to stop. Okay, it has a red, and it has to come to a stop while this train, and it is coming into Granger. It's going to cross over here between these two. Now this is where the maintenance is taking place, so it's going around the maintenance. Free this up. And this one here up. And this is where you get some cool watching of trains. This one is stopped, and while this one now is coming and it's crossing over in front of it. And so it's going to hit this block first, and then this one, and then it's going to come out here. Then it's going to be free here, here, and here. So the train is through there. And now since it's passed, the dispatcher can then go ahead and give this train a route to continue to go eastbound. And it can go ahead and continue on through. Now it's going to be a lot more hectic for the dispatcher, because as this is all happening, he's going to be, adding more trains onto the layout. So there's going to be trains coming down behind these trains, and he's always going to have to worry about making sure that he's got them routed around here. And there may be a lot of times there could be something going on here at Devil's Slide also. He's going to have to be watching how to route around not only the maintenance taking place here between Aspen and Granger, but also whatever switching is going on at Devil's Slide. So it could be pretty interesting for the dispatcher and for the crews to watch the signals as they're routed around all the different obstacles and as they make their way across the Evanston sub.
Want to give you a little preview of a video that's coming up in a couple days. I had the opportunity to attend Train Fest on Saturday and had a lot of fun there. Saw a lot of cool things, met some people, which was kind of neat, and had the chance to really see some pretty cool trains. The best part was attending an open house at the North American Prototype Modelers Club. One of the best club layouts I've ever seen. So I'm going to give you some video that I took there. Definitely had some really cool trains going through there. So that's going to be coming up in a couple days. Going to just show you some of the things that I saw at Train Fest and then also at this club. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you have a great Sunday today and a great week coming up. Take care, everybody.